So the next question will be these exact parts. Summarize your gap analysis. What gaps were identified in the disaggregated data? What barriers to success were identified for the targeted subgroups? And what ideas for improving the targeted subgroup data were identified? And on the next slide, we have an example of how this could be answered. So the main area found in the gap analysis was communicating and involving identified students and parents. The district will develop a system using multiple levels of communication to reach out to parents with the opportunities available, resources in use, and extended instructional opportunities available. There will be direct contact with district learning centers, and a schedule of professional development opportunities will be developed. This school also went to 4 days a week. And so they're using their Fridays for professional development and also to bring families into the school. So you will see that throughout the example, that Fridays is a lot of support and professional development. So what barriers did they find? Access to parents and the internet. They found that if they get materials out, then they don't get the materials back. And so what were their ideas for improvement was to increase communication. And that was the eminent goal that would serve the school. They needed multiple levels of support throughout the school resources, quarterly meetings that would take place with school counselors, special ed, ensure student success, and then additional programs that could be implemented on Fridays with certified staff and support. The next question is for you to compare the CNA and the gap analysis. So you're going to base on the comparison of your CNA and your gap analysis what needs were identified for each targeted subgroup. So this could include extensive use and implementation of the Montana Early Warning System. They will need training for their staff in order to use it with fidelity. They also identify they need content standards for each grade. They need to teach content standards for each grade, daily lesson plans, and parental opportunity to understand. So they wanted to do professional development for parents. They set a plan including weekly goals that is needed to track student progress and to provide support for recovering credits and objectives to meet their graduation goals. And this was part of the Montana Early Warning System. The district adopted additional graduation track for the students with a handful of student success in the past year. They also implemented aggressive tracking procedures for students to identify strengths and weaknesses and to help align with the curriculum expectations.
Hello.
So the next is, what resources are you using?
Hello.
So this is coming from your results from the gap analysis and the CNA, what strategies or intervention programs. Remember, you have to have strong or moderate evidence that you select. We do realize that this is year 3, and we don't anticipate that you are going to be changing your interventions, especially if you're showing growth. But if you do want to change your intervention, if they have not been effective, or if your goals have changed, then you can change your intervention as long as they are still evidence-based and aligned with your action plan goals.
We will be sending out the schedule again for the progress monitoring, and I understand things are a little different in terms of on-site or at home, and so there still needs to be adjustment, but our assessment calendar is the same as the literacy grant assessment calendar for those that are overlapping, but we will send that out to the rest of you just so that you have that. Because we are moving in that direction where we are putting more, it's kind of like you do stage, in the gradual release. We'll be reminding you about the progress monitoring, but it'll be important for you to have that information ready to report back to us. But I'll get that schedule out to you as well.
So an example of resources used was they had strategies in place that include the uses Fridays as an opportunity to provide additional one-to-one student opportunities with certified teachers and support staff. They had a program in place using map data to identify their reading needs by levels and additional interventions that occurred with a certified reading instructor and an instructional coach. And their evidence and data have shown increased reading comprehension improves academic success across all curriculum. And then a leadership support team was put in place to increase the involvement in the Montana Behavior Institute. And they were also offering professional development on the Montana Early Warning System so that all staff were trained to help drive their decision. The next slide is a link to evidence-based practices. It just links back to a page on OPI that gives you all approved interventions, programs, resources that you could use if you are looking for something.
It's more about approved is a good word, but I think even more so is those the evidence that have strong to moderate evidence-based for you to choose from.
On the e-grant will be describe who will implement your plan. So this is basically who is going to be in charge of implementing your intervention or program or your SMART goal, and how will they monitor that? How will they record their data, and how will they report their data? So again, this is sort of a bulleted list, but their subgroup was ELLs, and they were using StudySync. And so their action plan was that they were going to use a Friday intervention with their multiple tiers of support and StudySync. And they were going to use pre and post assessments to help guide their instruction. Their measurement tools they were going to use they have lots of different points for data. And their person in charge of monitoring this was their instructional consultant and the classroom teacher. Here is our list of one-pagers to external partners.
I'll try to jump in, and if it gets crackly, Amy.
Yeah, I'll summarize.
Yeah, so I know several of you in conversation know exactly which direction you're going in terms of you are having an instructional consultant come in, and others I haven't heard whether or not you're still interested in that or not. It's just a reminder that this is totally up to you this year, whether or not you want to use your Title I dollars for an instructional consultant. Under ESSA and Title I school support, the dollars that are allocated to schools, you can use them for what you see fit. However, if you bring someone in utilizing Title I school dollars, it has to go through a vetted process. And so this is the list that we have for you so far. And we've tried to create it so that you can look at a one-pager for each firm that is located in there, and then what they can offer at this time. We are working on another list. I just spoke with Julie Merkel about offering maybe a one-pager to show you some other options that how you can utilize people from OPI with some other areas of concern, maybe the list of other in terms of that third goal. But once you decide you're going to use an external partner, could you please just shoot me an email just letting me know? It's just for my records, but it's nothing more than just keeping track. Again, it's up to you. If you want somebody to come in and do I know one school, and I can't remember if it was Wolf Point or if it was Fraser maybe, where they brought in an external partner and had them just do a week or a couple of weeks in residence. They didn't do every month having someone come in. So really it is up to you if you want somebody and then how you want to utilize them, what works best for you and your school. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
One is, first of all, when I received that folder, I was a little bit surprised at what was in each folder was so different. You know,
Yep.
like trying to, being able to read through that data, it just like one folder had a lot of, it wasn't just a one pager. So I was surprised by that. In order to make these decisions, especially since I was kind of really looking at trying to that early grade specialist lens I was looking for. And so that I felt like that was a bit of a gap. And then my other question is, as far as consultants, whether it be OPI, whether it be these outside consultants, what are the guidelines for them being able to come in our school? Should we be able to be open, or are there any guidelines?
Okay, so to answer your first question, we've been working this last week to shore up what that looks like in the Google Drive. We've asked all of our external partners to provide a one-sheeter outside, and so we've created a folder. On the first page, it just has a one page of the external partners, and then if they're preschool, high school, elementary, if they're literacy or math, that should be the first page you see. And then, yes, there were some people that provided other resources, so I we created a folder for resources, and then we created the one pager. So you can look first and foremost just at the one sheet. And then if you're going deeper and saying, oh, they might have somebody that's a preschool specialist that we're looking for, then you can click on the folder for external partners. Does that make sense, Diane?
Yes, that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay. And then your second question, I can speak to OPI contacts. So there's 4 of us that, we have 2 more people that are starting in August. So we're not quite all there. Am I sounding correctly? Okay, Can you repeat what I just said, Amy?
So there's going to be 4 of us, but right now it's only Carrie and I. The other 2 OPI coordinators will be starting in the middle of August.
And we are currently putting our plan together. For right now, we've been told we can't travel until after January.
Right. So for the OPI people, the agency, we are putting our plan together, but we are not allowed to travel through the 2020 school year.
We can put requests in, but so far they've all been denied.
Right. We can put, they're on a request basis, but so far they have all been denied.
As far as outside consultants, that is between you and what your guidelines are bringing in guests.
As far as outside consultants, that is between you and whatever your guidelines are for bringing in outside guests.
So just last session, you talked about the 4 consultants and putting us in these groups. So what you're saying, as I'm writing my fall plan and my fall schedule, currently there are no plans for OPI consultants to come into our schools like last year, the site visits.
Correct.
Until after January.
We are setting regional
Okay.
Zoom meetings at this time, and also meetings with individual schools. We haven't set those up yet to talk with individual schools to set those up yet.
We will be holding regional Zoom meetings and individual school meetings. Once we get all of our teammates on board, we'll be sending out the invitations for those, but all of our meetings will be held through Zoom.
It will be determined, the regional meetings are set, but the individual school meetings will be determined with what the school needs and what we are, what you are asking for assistance and how we move forward.
Okay, that's helpful because I know as we're putting our list together of who potentially might be in our school, that's good information. Additionally, so I'm assuming it's going to be a virtual fall conference, if at all.
So the fall conference, that's why we've been offering this series of webinars is sort of taking place of the fall conference. So we won't be holding a fall conference as it's happened in the past. That's what
we will also go out to find out what needs there are so that we can offer some professional development via these regional meetings, but that will be based on each region and what they are requesting of us. So that's still forthcoming, Diane.
Okay, that's great. And are you going to survey folks? I mean, because I can think of some needs that pop into my head right now, but certainly could be handled via virtual session.
Yes, the survey will be going out to each region to assess the needs.
Okay, thank you guys.